Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Ronka and I love to talk about making moves both geographically and professionally. Now last week I posted a part 1 to our wedding planning series and I was talking about the road leading to the wedding. So talking about working with our vendors, choosing a planner, choosing a venue, choosing a date, all of those really important things that you need to make a wedding happen. Today I want to talk a little bit more about looking back. Now, when I talked last week, I mentioned that the week before was our anniversary. And so we're still in our anniversary month, so I figure I can slide this video in before the month ends. Now, one of the things that I talked about in the last video was about saving ahead for the wedding. I'm gonna be the first person to tell y'all that I went way over budget, okay? I mean, I just went way over budget. I think there were some things that I didn't prioritize because once again, I just didn't know everything offhand. But there were definitely some things that I didn't prioritize that ended up causing us to go over budget. But obviously, when I look back and I see how the wedding looked, I'm not too mad I went over budget, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, some people would be like, oh my gosh, I should have never spent all that. Nope. I spent that money. At least I looked good. And at least our venue looked good. And Tosin also looked good too, y'all. Okay? Trust that he's gonna look together. So at least we look good, at least our venue looked good. So I wasn't mad about that. And people ate. People ate real good. People ate and took food home as it should be. So I think for us, even though we went over budget, we were not necessarily too upset about that. And overall, everyone just had a really good time. Plus, for a lot of people, this was like the last wedding that they went to before COVID. So I'm sure people appreciated the fact that we went to such great lengths to make it a nice experience. You know, when it came to working with our vendors, once again, I think our vendors were simply amazing. And, you know, one of the things that I liked the most is that our planners were very thoughtful about how we could leverage multiple services from particular vendors. So Master Plan, our planners, once again, they have connections or they have a specific vendor that they tend to use quite a bit, or they at least are, you know, familiar with, that they know well. And this vendor, his name is DJ Femstar. He's a DJ, but he also has light services. He also does floor wraps. He also does I think like smoke machines and pyrotechnic machines and all those things. So he does a lot of different services. And so because of that, as opposed to having to have a vendor for each and every single one of those things, we can consolidate all of those services into one vendor and then also use that to negotiate lower price points. So I thought that was really good because you already have a vendor that's already going to have to be there anyways. Why don't you get this person to help you do some of these other things? And, you know, with DJ Femstar, he already had a proven track record of being able to execute on these things well. So that was really good for us. So for our wedding, we actually chose to do a first look. And I'm gonna be the first one to tell y'all, I did not want to do a first look. I really did not want to do a first look. And I think maybe it's just being a little bit traditional minded that you don't see each other before you walk down the aisle. But Tosin really wanted to do one. And I think, so we got married on a Sunday, actually. We got married the Sunday before Veterans Day. So this was in 2019, November 10, and Veterans Day was the Monday. And so at the time, I selected Veterans Day because, or I selected the Sunday before Veterans Day because at that time, the company I was working with, Veterans Day was a holiday. But about 2 to 3 weeks before the wedding, I actually switched jobs and Veterans Day was no longer a holiday. So it didn't really make a difference. I mean, I ended up taking the time off because I was getting married, but it ended up not making a difference for me. But anyway, because we got married on a Sunday, we pushed it back a bit because, you know, obviously friends from church or just general church members are going to church and then they would need to maybe get a little bit of downtime before they come for our ceremony. And so we ended up, I think our ceremony rather started around 4, and then our reception probably started around maybe 5 or 6. And so in order to make good use of daylight time, we ended up doing the first look. That was, you know, was a very heavy suggestion from our photographer, Wally Aristos, to do that so that we could take advantage of having the daylight time and then also not necessarily being rushed if for whatever reason the ceremony went over. So obviously that was a pretty good suggestion. So we ended up doing the first look, and y'all, I'm gonna post a picture, but during that first look, Tosin cried. Tosin was like, my wife, my beautiful wife, and he was shedding some tears. But I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I think the way that my hair was done, my hair was so tight, I couldn't even cry. I think I was just smiling the whole day. because yo, my hair was tight, okay? Like my edges and everything was being pulled up. So, you know, nah, I could not cry that day. I could not cry. But so we did our first look. We did it with our bridal party, and then we also took some pictures with my dad, since he was of course gonna walk me in. And I thought that was really nice. We got to use a different part of the venue. So we actually used the University of Maryland as our venue for our marriage, and you know, we were able to use a different part of the conference center to take pictures, and we were able to use outside as well. So I thought that was really nice. So to give you guys context for how long it took us to plan, or how long we had to plan rather, we got engaged in March of 2019, and then we actually ended up having our wedding in November of 2019. So we had about 7-8 months. Now in wedding time, that's not that much time, because people typically are booking vendors way far out in advance, especially if it's like a particular vendor that they want to do their event. And so for us, you know, the date that we went with, which was in November, was a mix of it being a holiday, or being around a holiday, and then also it being one of the dates that we could find our venues available for. When we initially were like trying to pick a wedding date, I really wanted to get married in 2020, because I was like, oh my gosh, 4/4/2020, that's a Saturday. And I love the number 4. As I mentioned, I like shapes, I like all these different things. You know, I'm just very, I'm very particular. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we should get married April 4, 2020. And Tosin was like, girl, no, we're not doing that. Like, let's just choose a date this year and just do it this year and just be done with. Because Tosin obviously wanted to, you know, he wanted to spend money on other things besides wedding. So that's why we ended up going with November. And can I just say, thank you, Lord Jesus, for allowing me to listen to Tosin, because I have a lot of friends who got married in the pandemic, and hats off to y'all. I don't know how I would have handled it, honestly. So I'm really happy that we managed to get our wedding in right before things started going left. I personally don't think I have any regrets in terms of anything I would have done. I mean, truth be told, like I said, we went over the budget, but in the end, I'm very satisfied with how everything turned out. I think the entire room just looked amazing. I mean, if anything, it would just be that I wish we could have invited more people. But really, I don't think I have any qualms about how anything went. I think the program went well. Your girl ate. I know typically they say that, oh, at most weddings, the couple doesn't eat. Master plan made sure I ate. And I made sure I ate, okay? Because there's no way you're going to put food in front of me and I'm not going to eat. Especially when, like I said, my hair was already being pulled like this. I'm on seats. I cannot be hungry and be having head pulled like this. That's not going to work. So I was definitely grateful to Master Plan for making sure that I was able to eat. But like I said, I don't think there's anything that I would necessarily say I wish had gone better. I think it went well. I think we were able to pull everything together. I mean, if there was anything that was going on behind the scenes, I obviously didn't know about it, which is great. You know, for us, obviously our wedding was extremely important to us, because this is our wedding. It was the joining together of both of our families. And I think that even outside of the wedding that everyone saw, you know, there was concerted effort made to bring together these families. And I think that was very important for us, because, you know, culturally and also religiously, yes, there's the family unit, as in the husband, the wife, and, you know, the children, but there's also the larger family dynamic. And for us, that was extremely important to have both sides of our families, our lives, our friends all come together, get to know one another, you know, party with each other, and just celebrate with us this monumental milestone for us. You know, I think our wedding was undoubtedly probably one of the biggest events that both sides of our families have had have had recently anyways, but it was definitely one of the biggest events that we probably had in a bit. And yes, because it's a wedding, but I think also just because our heart in everything was about celebrating with family, celebrating with loved ones. So yes, we had this vision of what we wanted it to look like, but that was because we wanted it to be an experience and an opportunity for us to celebrate with loved ones. If you are someone who is recently engaged or is wedding planning, the first thing I'm gonna tell you is to get you a planner, okay? I obviously am going to link all of my vendors down below, so if you have any interest in using my planner, Master Plan Events, or any of the vendors that we've used, if you're based in the DMV, I will have them all listed down below. I personally have really enjoyed shooting this video, and I also have enjoyed inserting all the wedding pictures possible into this video for y'all to look at. I hope this video was a nice break from what I normally do, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what your vision was or will be for your wedding. As always, please make sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel for more travel, career, and sometimes other content. See you next time.